Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday, 7:10 a.m., May 17th. And price of Bitcoin currently at 96.80. And it looks like it's challenging up towards that 9798 area. All right. So let's see what's going on in the smaller time frames and see if we can identify anything that we can work with. All right. So first things first, what we see so far, again, after we hit this 10K area, I think last week or so, or a week and a half ago, we had a big spillover to 8100. Bulls picked it back up, drove the price again back towards 98, 99, and then we got rejected again all the way to 9100. Okay, so far the strength technically is favorable to the bulls in this short and medium term time frame that we're looking at. All right, and again, we are challenging that 97 area right now as we speak, breaking above this key area that was support right here, back here around 95.50, and then breaking above it through that resistance right there above 95.50. All right, and the question is, are we ready to push up higher, 99, 910, or I'm sorry, 99 or 10,000 area beyond? It's really hard to say because, again, it is Saturday going into early Sunday, and for the most part, this weekend shenanigans volume doesn't really mean a whole lot. Sometimes these moves are very counter to what happens through the week, and the weekend volume is significantly lower because the CME players are not there. A majority of professional traders are not really active. So for the most part, I kind of discount these moves on the weekends, and even then, in any case, so far we haven't really made any significant move to the upside, breaking through key resistance levels or anything. But this is a strong movement nonetheless over the weekend. And I'll show you guys why. All right, on the 4-hour chart, I think on Friday, I think I left the price action right around this point right here where price was just around this area. And as you can see, what we did really through the weekend was we kept trying to hammer this top of the range right there around $9,500 and finally smashed up through it, tested it as support, and now we're trying to break up further. Okay, so positive sign on the 4-hour that we kind of reclaimed this area of $9,500 from it being resistance to smashing up through it and utilizing it as support in these little candles that you see. Okay, so, I cannot definitively say that this is still bearish, but one thing we can make the argument about is, this is still a high, a lower high, and unless the current price action actually pushes past this key high right here, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, it has to break above this marker right here, 99.70. Okay, until then, all this is, just mini internal movement of, high, lower high. For all I know, this could be another lower high, and then we start pushing down. But here's the thing, okay? So far, right now, the strength is really on the bull side because, again, we've made consistent movements on the way up on the daily time frame, right? Even if we go down to the 4-hourly, in this large trading range over the last, week or two, all right? After this period of consolidation, we push up through it. We got rejected, sent down all the way to the bottom of this range that you see. But yet again, bulls, picked up the strength and drove the price back up. Again, got pushed down, and now they're again driving it back up. Okay, so it's hard to say that, there's an argument to be made that, the bears are winning out right now. The bears are technically winning out in this larger time frame, which is, if you look at it from a 5-day perspective, right, the broader perspective of this 10.5 level has not been broken yet. First touch, second touch, and technically you could dial this back all the way to September right here where we tried to close above it, broke down below, short squeeze, broke down below, pushed back up in February, broke down below. All right, so the bigger argument is that, well, do we have enough strength to actually, push up way past 10,500? I don't know. It's hard to tell as of present moment. Okay, but on the 5-day chart, if this candle currently closes as is, as like a hanging man right there, again, not the best sign. Okay, let's see on the 3-day chart how things look. All right, 3-day chart, very strong, rebound in terms of the bullish engulfing right there. Okay, this bullish engulfing candle was a strong sign, and now we have about 11 hours or so, or 12 hours or so left in this candle right here. So that means around tonight's daily close, weekly close, this 3-day will close as well. And we will get to see how that candle closes. All right. And I'm definitely looking forward to the weekly because let's check out the weekly here. The weekly looks really interesting because after 1 week, finally, that we had of a red candle after 8 straight weeks of, up movement like that, I figured that this candle right here would at least be a bearish candle. But again, like I said, bulls picked it back up. Now they need to prove their strength over this 10,070 high or 10,085 high, and then 10,550 high. All right. Last week, we actually had some very good trades on our end. Okay, so as you can see, we are in some positions of GDX, GLD for a couple weeks now. We had a SPY put that we got into just this past Friday, and Wells Fargo position as well. And again, not all these are, this is a short right here, by the way, the Wells Fargo. These two are longs, okay? And then dollar yen, also a decent trade so far. We'll see how the market opens up today. Dollar ZAR, which is South African rand, doing all right. So, and then this was our short trade that we got into a few days back. All right, this closed Friday. I think right now this is probably at a slight loss, but nonetheless, this is how our trades went in the advantage side this past week. So things are still looking good in terms of our community doing whatever it takes to reach out into multiple markets and start making money. But when it comes to the crypto market, it's been very intensely ambiguous of what Bitcoin really wants to do, because so far, the market looks like it's kind of exhausted these levels. And I've stated to you guys before that if you start looking at the trading light, if you start looking at, these areas where the last several times we've actually come to these levels, right? So if we look at, this high right here, this distribution, then this dump, and then this area right here, there just seems like very high sell volume coming in at these tops whenever we come towards those areas. So it just makes me think that there are some big players in the market who are trying to relieve themselves of these positions, and they need FOMO strength like this to get them out of that position. Okay, because remember, these people operate with, possibly 50, 100, 200 million dollars. So they can't just start dumping and market selling, right? It's not going to work properly. Okay, so they have to sell at the most efficient prices. All right. Let me see on the 1 hour time frame. Another way you could look at this is this previous base right here, as you can see, right? So that was support right there, resistance broke down. You can see that same marker being utilized right there too, 97.28, which is currently resistance. So you could try to play this one level at a time, all right? Which is, at present moment, you could say, okay, I'm going to short this as resistance, short it down to this area that was previous resistance that should maybe turn into support. Or if you see a break above this area, 97.28, you can long it from here to this next level around 99.78, which is the next resistance level, okay? Again, not investment advice. I am currently short, and I still probably will hold on to my short until I see movement otherwise that will invalidate my theory about what's happening in price action. The market, S&P 500 market last week on Friday did close somewhat positively. Now we need to see if the bulls regain strength tonight and tomorrow to drive this market up higher, or are we going to start breaking down? Okay, that's a real question. Because remember, like I think tonight, as the ES futures open, Bitcoin CME futures open as well. Okay, so we'll get to see what the CME players are thinking about in terms of the Bitcoin markets, right? Because remember that they do generate a significant amount of volume. And here's another thing. There is a gap currently, all right, on the CME chart. We closed last week on Friday at 92.95. Price currently is at 97.20. That's a $500 gap, okay? So once the CME players come in, just like how they drove and closed this gap right here, they might drive this price down again from up here down to $92, $9,300 and close that gap. Again, if you're really a believer in gap, right, you need to believe it in both directions. You can't just believe it in the direction that benefits you, okay? GBTC, same thing, all right? Closed at 1107 last week. Price is a little bit higher now. So who knows? GBTC might itself close its gap, okay? Let me see here. So let's check out the daily real quick. So again, you know, there's a decent amount of selling that happened a few days back on Friday. Saturday closed as kind of like a doji right there, you know, and now Sunday, the bulls are kind of following up with it. So, like I said, positive sign nonetheless, but I'm still sort of a believer that this could end up going down, especially once we start seeing the S&P 500 equities go down. But I gotta say, you know, I'm very impressed with the bulls on both fronts of the equity side as well as the crypto side, because they're relentlessly sort of pounding, you know, towards these areas. The question is, you know, are we going to actually break through these areas, right? On the 4-hour chart, last but not least, we see this RSI trend line, okay? And so you could see right here from this touch to this touch, let's lower this down just a little bit. All right, so from this touch to this touch, we tried to break through it on this movement right here, but then came down again. And now it looks like we're trying to break through that, you know, momentum trend line right there, okay? So positive sign in my opinion, right? OBV right here, this is where things get interesting. Okay, OBV really has not ticked up all through the entire weekend. That makes sense, again, because there's not a whole lot of volume that comes into the weekend. Okay, so it's not real money flows that are driving the price up. It could very well just be, you know, some short squeezes, some spoof walls that are kind of doing their best to drive up the price or scare people into selling. This is what happens on the weekends, these kind of shenanigans. And this is why it's best to just stay away from the price action over the weekend, because it is really just garbage, you know. So anyway, I hope this analysis was helpful. Give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and come join the Advantage community, folks. There's a link below. If not, come find us in the Discord channel, which is, there's also a link below for that. You can just hang out on the free side if you want, all right? So again, I hope this analysis was helpful. Have a good rest of your Sunday. We're gonna have our equities analysis up today, which is gonna be a really interesting interview with a former Citigroup hedge fund manager. I hope you guys tune into that. The interview should be up mid-afternoon today. All right, y'all take care. Cheers and keep your stops tight.